Diuretics, often nicknamed water pills, are powerful medications that help your body eliminate excess salt and the water through urine. They're used to treat high blood pressure, swelling from heart or kidney problems, and even reduce pressure inside the brain and eyes. But before we explore how these drugs work, we need to understand how your kidneys naturally filter your blood and balance fluids. Well, your kidneys filter over 50 gallons of blood a day using structures called nephrons. Each nephron filters blood at a structure called the glomerulus, pushing water, salts, toxins, and small molecules into the tubules. From there, the kidney selectively reabsorbs useful substances like glucose, sodium, and water while secreting more waste and acid into the filtrate. What's left becomes urine. Diuretics work by blocking key parts of this reabsorption system, forcing more salt and therefore more water to be flushed out. Thiazide diuretics like hydrochlorothiazide, Chlorthalidone, and indapamide work in the distal convoluted tubule of the nephron. This part of the tubule normally reabsorbs about 5% of filtered sodium. Thiazides block a specific transporter called the sodium chloride symporter, preventing sodium from being reabsorbed. Because water follows sodium, this results in more water staying in the tubule and being excreted as urine. In the long term, this also causes blood vessels to relax, making thiazides excellent for treating hypertension. However, they can lower potassium levels and raise blood sugar and uric acid, so they should be used with caution in people with gout or diabetes. Loop diuretics, such as furosemide, bumetanide, and torsemide, act on the thick ascending limb of the loop of Henle, a region that reabsorbs around 25% of filtered sodium. These drugs block the sodium, potassium, chloride ion cotransporter, which normally pulls sodium, potassium, and chloride from the tubule into the blood. With that pathway blocked, the kidney loses a huge amount of sodium, and as a result, a large amount of water goes with it. This makes loop diuretics the most potent of all, often used in heart failure, pulmonary edema, and chronic kidney disease. But they can also deplete potassium and magnesium, and with high doses, even damage hearing, a side effect known as ototoxicity. Potassium-sparing diuretics work later in the nephron, specifically in the collecting duct. Drugs like Spironolactone and eplerenone block the action of aldosterone, a hormone that normally tells your kidneys to reabsorb sodium and dump potassium. By inhibiting aldosterone receptors, these medications prevent sodium from being reabsorbed, keeping water in the urine and allowing potassium to be retained. Other potassium-sparing drugs like amiloride and triamterene directly block the sodium channels themselves in the same area. These drugs are weaker diuretics on their own, but are often combined with thiazides or loop diuretics to prevent potassium loss. However, they can cause hyperkalemia, especially in patients with renal failure or those taking other medications that retain potassium. Acetazolamide is the main drug in this class, and it works in the proximal tubule by inhibiting an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase. This enzyme is crucial for reabsorbing bicarbonate, which is a base that helps maintain your blood's pH. When this enzyme is blocked, bicarbonate, and along with it, sodium and water are lost in the urine. While this diuretic effect is mild, carbonic anhydrase inhibitors are very useful in treating glaucoma, altitude sickness, and metabolic alkalosis. But the trade-off is that they can lead to metabolic acidosis, since you're losing your body's natural buffering agents. Unlike other diuretics, mannitol works by creating a high osmotic gradient in the kidney tubules. It's a large sugar-like molecule that gets filtered at the glomerulus but isn't reabsorbed. As it travels through the nephron, it pulls water with it, increasing urine output dramatically. This type of diuretic doesn't block a transporter or hormone. It just changes the pressure in the tubule. Osmotic diuretics are especially useful in emergency situations like intracranial hypertension and acute glaucoma, but they can worsen heart failure if too much fluid shifts too quickly into the vascular system. Diuretics may seem simple, but each type works through a different mechanism and comes with different risks. They're incredibly useful when chosen carefully and monitored correctly. Always check electrolytes, blood pressure, and renal function during treatment. And remember, When you manipulate water in the body, you affect much more than just urine. Hope this gave you a crystal clear view of how diuretics work. If you found this helpful, tap that like button, subscribe, and let us know which topic you'd like to see broken down next.